Here is a list of the coronations of the British monarchs since the Norman Conquest in 1066. William the Conqueror. William I was crowned on Christmas Day, December 25, 1066, at Westminster Abbey. William II. William II, also known as William Rufus, was crowned on September 26, 1087, at Westminster Abbey. Henry I. Henry I was crowned on August 5, 1100, at Westminster Abbey. Stephen. Stephen was crowned on December 26, 1135, at Westminster Abbey. Henry II. Henry II was crowned on December 19, 1154, at Westminster Abbey. Richard I. Richard I, also known as Richard the Lionheart, was crowned on September 3, 1189, at Westminster Abbey. John. John was crowned on May 27, 1199, at Westminster Abbey. Henry III. Henry III was crowned on October 28, 1216, at Gloucester Cathedral due to political unrest. He was re-crowned at Westminster Abbey on May 17, 1220. Edward I. Edward I was crowned on August 19, 1274, at Westminster Abbey. Edward II. Edward II was crowned on February 25, 1308, at Westminster Abbey. Edward III. Edward III was crowned on February 1, 1327, at Westminster Abbey. Richard II. Richard II was crowned on July 16, 1377, at Westminster Abbey. Henry IV. Henry IV was crowned on October 13, 1399, at Westminster Abbey. Henry V. Henry V was crowned on April 9, 1413, at Westminster Abbey. Henry VI. Henry VI was crowned on November 6, 1429, at Westminster Abbey. Edward IV. Edward IV was crowned on June 28, 1461, at Westminster Abbey. Edward V. Edward V was never officially crowned due to the political turmoil known as the Wars of the Roses. Richard III. Richard III was crowned on July 6, 1483, at Westminster Abbey. Henry VII. Henry VII was crowned on October 30, 1485, at Westminster Abbey. Henry VIII. Henry VIII was crowned on June 24, 1509, at Westminster Abbey. Edward VI. Edward VI was crowned on February 20, 1547, at Westminster Abbey. Mary I. Mary I was crowned on October 1, 1553, at Westminster Abbey. Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I was crowned on January 15, 1559, at Westminster Abbey. James I. James I, also known as James VI of Scotland, was crowned on July 25, 1603, at Westminster Abbey. Charles I. Charles I was crowned on February 2, 1626, at Westminster Abbey. Charles II. Charles II was crowned on April 23, 1661, at Westminster Abbey. James II. James II was crowned on April 23, 1685, at Westminster Abbey. William III and Mary II. William III and Mary II were jointly crowned on April 11, 1689, at Westminster Abbey. Anne. Anne was crowned on April 23, 1702, at Westminster Abbey. George I. George I was crowned on October 20, 1714, at Westminster Abbey. George II. George II was crowned on October 11, 1727, at Westminster Abbey. George III. George III was crowned on September 22, 1761, at Westminster Abbey. George IV. George IV was crowned on July 19, 1821, at Westminster Abbey. William IV. William IV was crowned on September 8, 1831, at Westminster Abbey. Victoria. Queen Victoria was crowned on June 28, 1838, at Westminster Abbey. Edward VII. Edward VII was crowned on August 9, 1902, at Westminster Abbey. George V. George V was crowned on June 22, 1911, at Westminster Abbey. Edward VIII. Edward VIII abdicated the throne before his scheduled coronation. George VI. George VI was crowned on May 12, 1937, at Westminster Abbey. Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II was crowned on June 2, 1953, at Westminster Abbey. King Charles III. King Charles was crowned on May 6, 2023, at Westminster Abbey. It's important to note that the coronation ceremonies of different monarchs may have had variations in certain aspects or circumstances due to historical and political factors. However, Westminster Abbey has been the primary location for coronations since 1066, and the general framework and significance of the ceremony have remained consistent throughout the centuries.